Hello and welcome to another episode of Critical Political Thinking. My name is Corey Camacho and I'm your host. In today's episode, we're going to be covering Andrew Cuomo and how it just keeps getting worse. How 3 women have come forth to accuse him of sexual misconduct. Additionally, we're going to talk a little bit more about how he is also being accused of a huge cover-up involving his COVID-19 response. We're also going to talk about the crisis at the border and how it is going to affect America moving forward, as well as our immigration policy as it stands, and how it is now failing as a direct result of Biden's executive orders. And then we're going to talk about COVID-19, the truth behind the numbers, and why the numbers don't actually match the output, and how, if in fact they are doing the numbers that they're claiming, and the numbers that they plan to claim, we should see the end of this by June, July. And we're going to explain why we believe that should happen, but we're also going to explain why the Democrats won't let it happen, because power means far too much to the Democrats. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because this is another explosive episode from Critical Political Thinking. Hello and welcome to Critical Political Thinking. My name is Corey Camacho and I'm your host. In today's episode, we're going to start with Andrew Cuomo and how things just keep getting worse. We already know that he had lied and covered up the fact that there were actually 12,000 people that passed away as a direct result of his action. We're going to find how these people are, in fact, probably going to take legal action versus him, and how the District Justice, or I should say the Attorney General of New York, is now also looking into independent investigations into these COVID lies. And we'll find out that if, in fact, he is found guilty of certain activities, how in one of our previous episodes we explained there were 3 criminal charges that he could technically be held accountable for. Or held liable for, I should say. But now we have the Attorney General looking into those charges. But something a little more pressing, because everything with the Me Too movement is, and it should be rightfully so, I'm not belittling the Me Too movement, but what I'm getting at is no matter what else happens in the world, it'll always be at the forefront because that's how social justice works these days. So what do we have? We have Andrew Cuomo being accused by 3 separate women of similar, if not almost identical action, which does show a pattern of sexual deviance. And who are these people? Well, the first to come out, the first brave soul, was Lindsay Boylan, and she accused, Mr. Cuomo of kissing and touching her, inappropriately. That's never okay, and we have come to find that the entire Democratic Party is now throwing him under the bus, saying that all along he's been a bully. We know he's a bully. That's how he rules. That's just the style of power, to be a bully. Well, that's funny, because up to this point, every single conservative has been labeled as a bully, and then therefore a racist, and a misogynist, and a criminal, and a seditionist. The list goes on. We're everything. But because it's Andrew Cuomo, a Democrat that they had initially slated to be their next presidential candidate, now, all of a sudden, that's just how he is. We should have known all along. Well, fortunately, we had 2 other brave women to come forth. Anna Ruck, who is accusing him of Mr. Cuomo inappropriately, asking her if he could kiss her at a wedding. Now, this is also an employee, mind you, so it's never acceptable for you to speak to your employee in that manner. Additionally, he was accused of inappropriate touching, which was fortunately caught on photograph. So there is photographic evidence of him inappropriately touching this staff member and asking for a kiss. Additionally, you have Charlotte Bennett, who was also accusing him of interrogating her on her sex life, asking her if she likes to date older men, implying, himself clearly, because he would be the older man in that scenario, as he always is. Apparently, it's looking more and more like dirty old man every day, but, who are we to say? That's just our personal opinion. But what do we have? We have Andrew Cuomo come back out, just like he did with the nursing home scenario, and he comes out with a comeback or an excuse. He's refusing to accept fault for this. He's basically saying, he even downplayed it in his apology to these people, claiming it's just how I am. I never meant anything by it. You know, everybody knows I just like to bring levity in such a difficult scenario. Let me tell you something, Mr. Cuomo. You don't bring levity to anything. You bring a dictatorial, just like Mr. Biden, through his executive orders, a dictatorial leadership. You threaten anyone that crosses your path. We're certainly not afraid of you, but we also don't live in New York, so we technically don't fall under your grasp. Now, we do fall under your little buddy, Tommy Wolf, but we're certainly not afraid of him. I mean, children be children. But, it's just sad because now what you have is you have the entire Democratic Party throwing Mr. Cuomo under the bus. And so I wonder if he's going to retaliate and use his bully syndrome against them. One of which would technically be under him, and that would be Bill de Blasio. Mr. de Blasio is really, really throwing Cuomo under the bus, jumping on that Me Too movement, trying to please his wife. It's really sad. And why is he doing this? Because he's trying to bail himself out, because he realizes the majority of those nursing home deaths were under his leadership as well. A lot of those were in New York City. Did you know that? Actually, I believe the majority were in New York City, if I'm not mistaken. But that's what we have. So now we have, Mr. de Blasio accusing Mr. Cuomo, when in fact they probably both colluded in the first of the issues, which would be the nursing home. But as far as the sexual deviance, you can't tell me that Mr. de Blasio, who hangs out with Cuomo, I don't want to say regularly, but frequently, you can't tell me he wasn't aware of these scenarios or situations. I'm curious to see how many of these times he was actually walking around there. But now you have the entire Democratic Party accusing him and holding him accountable. They have to hold him accountable at this point because they have no alternative. They're caught red-handed. And boy, does that hurt. But we're going to catch them each and every time now. We're not letting any of these Democrats slide anymore. Even though they think they can limit us and hide social media, we always have a way around them. Look behind me. Go to that website, at our page. We'll always provide you with the truth. They can't silence us forever. Additionally, now, like I said, you have them getting thrown under the bus. But the one person who hasn't thrown him under the bus, the one man who calls him the gold standard, his little buddy, who was going to be putting him as Attorney General, but now that's under the bus, is where that is. And that would be the gold standard, Mr. Joe Biden. Remember, Joe Biden called Andrew Cuomo the gold standard, knowing damn well how this man ruled, how this guy was. How can you call someone like that the gold standard? I know. You have no idea what's going on in the world around you. None whatsoever. I will get to that in a few moments. But first, let's talk about how this is going to end up for Cuomo. I actually feel bad for him because now what you have is you have the New York Attorney General who is doing anything she can over the past 6 months to make a name for herself. Clearly a selfish individual who just wants to make a name. We're going to sue him, and that would be Miss Letitia Jones. She is going after Trump. She's going after Cuomo. She'll go after anyone to make a name for herself. So we need to make sure we're paying attention to the facts. Make sure, frankly, I believe these women. I truly do. But everyone is innocent until proven guilty, and I hope that this trial is held to a fair standard. And on the same token, the Trump tax, all that stuff, that better be held to the same standard. And believe me, we're going to follow each and every step because both of these, she has claimed, are going to be public. So we'll pick through them, and we won't let the fact checkers lie or manipulate. So let's move on. Now we have a real pair of crises that we're handling here in America. The first of which is the border crisis. Right now, we have 3,000 to 4,000 people crossing our border each and every day. Under the Trump administration, none. They were forced to stay in Mexico. They were held in Mexico until they were able to prove their asylum case. Now what you have is what's called catch and release. They're not willing to call it that, but it is in fact exactly what it is. And what is catch and release for those who don't understand what's truly going on at our border? If you walk over the border with a child, they will take you, they will give you a COVID test. That's right, they're giving you an American COVID test. That means they're taking COVID tests out of the taxpayers who are paying for all of these things, mind you, giving that more money to illegal immigration, money they don't deserve yet. They haven't gone through the steps to become American citizens legally. And now, under the Biden administration, he knows damn well he's going to bolster his voters and he's going to bolster his labor force, screwing over all of the true Americans who aren't going to want to work for minimum wage because they just had a job that was paying triple digits, and now you've taken that away from them through your bullshit Paris Accord. So now what you have is you have a ton of people crossing our border each and every day, and they're going through what's called catch and release. So we're catching them. We're making sure they don't have COVID, wasting a COVID test. And I say wasting because they shouldn't be here anyway. Mexico should be handling that on their side of the border. Instead, they now know we're just letting them in, so they're not doing a damn thing. They're sitting back laughing. Oh, look at all of our assholes going over there. Oh, they couldn't make it here, and they think they're going to make it there. It's exactly what they're saying. It's on their news networks. Look, pay attention. Have them translate it. A simple Google Translate will show you. The rest of the world is laughing at us right now. And why are they laughing? Because they see through it. They see through what you people see as social justice, and it's so fair. Everybody's an immigrant. Yes, we're all immigrants, but we all came through. Our ancestors came through on Ellis Island for the most part. They went through the legal process. They didn't swim across the channel. That's not how that went down. Get it right, people. Don't just assume that because you walked in this country, you belong here. You need to earn your place, just like each and every one of us have to do each and every day when we pay our taxes. We go to work and we do things to make this society what it is. And it's about damn time we protect that. And that's all the Trump administration tried to do. And now, just to prove a point, you have the Biden administration undoing each and every one of the things that put America first to put America last. And it's a disgrace, it's despicable, and under my discretion, it's impeachable. But let's move on. So we have the hypocrisy of the fact that now they're coming over. So where do they have to go? The same camps that Trump was called a hypocrite for opening and forced to close, forcing them back over the border. Now they're reopening these places. And you still have people like AOC, it's never okay, but you're not doing a damn thing about it. Why? Because you haven't done a damn thing since you stepped in office, but open your mouth. That's all AOC is good for. Show me one policy that she's made change. Show me one thing that she's actually done. She's nothing. You know, you can't come from bartender to congresswoman and expect to get something done by just sitting there and opening your big mouth. Maybe it works as a bartender, but it doesn't work as an actual elected official. You have to do something. And not something stupid. The reason your things aren't working is because they're asinine. Get a clue. Find out what your constituents actually want and then address them. Not your personal agenda, because it's useless. There's no science to back it. It's your bullshit ideas and opinions. You know, yeah, scientifically, the world's heating up. It's been doing that. It's been in a cycle since the day we started. And our country alone isn't going to make a big enough change. So you know what you got to do? Live for the moment. Get a clue. I mean, it's just sad. It's truly sad. So now we have, thousands of people crossing the border, 3,000 to 4,000 daily. On top of that, you now have an anticipated projection to go upwards of 4,000 to 6,000 a day by April, crossing our border, and then they're just catch, test, release. Now, if they have COVID, they're getting vaccinated, they're getting this, they're getting that, they're getting care, they're getting all of our taxpayer money. How is that fair? Oh, wait, I know. It's not. It's not fair one bit. Not what we're suffering. We have to wait in line for a test. We have to wait in line for a vaccine. These people walk over a border, aren't even part of our country, haven't paid a cent into the system, and automatically are taken care of better than American citizens under the Biden administration. How is that fair? How is that legitimate? How is that happening in our country? Explain that to me. It's hypocrisy. It's disgusting. And under the Obama administration, they said 1,000 coming in a day is a crisis. Then explain to me what 3,000 to 4,000, possibly 6,000 a day is. I call that goddamn insanity. And it's got to stop. There has to be a legitimate process in place. I'm not saying we don't need immigration reform. We certainly do. We certainly need to streamline the process. But we have to have that process in place before you're just letting them fly into our country, letting them go live with their cousins and their families, never to be seen again, never to go through the processes. And if they do, they're only going to do it to claim welfare, to claim free money, to claim free health care, and do not a damn thing for the rest of their lives, and at least until their children are 18, because now they can rely on that dreamer law that you're putting through. You people have no idea the shit we're getting into as a country, and nobody is stopping them. Because, number one, you, quote unquote, voted them in through voting in mail. I mean, half these people are probably the relatives that weren't even legal citizens, but they didn't need voter ID, thanks to your Democratic governors who changed the rules of this election in 2020. Can't fact check that. They changed the laws to adapt to COVID, a disease that most Democrats seem to think is much more serious than Republicans, and they had their voters doing one thing while other voters did another, and that really split our people. I mean, I'm just telling you, it is what it is, people. You have to pay attention. Let's talk about the vaccine real quick, and the availability, and why I think these numbers are just total bullshit. So right now we're doing 1.82 million a day. 1.82 million vaccines a day, with a current 80 million doses out already. Great. And there's 328 million Americans. So if you do the math, let's do the math really quick, that brings you down to 268, or I'm sorry, 268 million individuals who have yet to be vaccinated. No, 248 million have yet to be vaccinated. So if we have 248 million who have yet to be vaccinated, so we're going to take that number and divide it by even the 2 million. So 248 million divided by the 124 million, or I'm sorry, 124, that brings you to. So 124 days total, 4 months total, March, April, May, June, that would be enough at current numbers to vaccinate the entire American population. Correct me if I'm wrong. 4 million. Or I'm sorry, 4 months to vaccinate the entire population. Now, they also had anti-vaxxing going on through Kamala Harris and, Joe Biden. Oh, I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't take it under the Trump. So that put the negativity in some people's minds. So some people may never take it because of that. Trump never said that once. Trump said, as soon as it's ready, take it. We did our research. We did a full year, and we did our best. We had the best minds put this together, and this is what we had. Biden ended up taking it. He seems to be doing just fine. Kamala took it. She seems to be doing just fine. The majority of people that take it seem to be doing just fine. As with any vaccine, there are side effects. Now, moving forward, do we know what these permanent side effects will be? No. We didn't have enough time to test it. But what I can tell you is do your own research. We're not telling you to take the vaccine. We're not telling you not to take the vaccine. But we're simply giving you the numbers that there are enough vaccines being manufactured that they can have it done and everyone in the United States vaccinated within the next 4 months. However, and keep in mind, they're also increasing the number of manufactured vaccines by more and more systems coming out and more companies coming out developing these vaccines. Therefore, we're going to have a higher output. So if that was the case, why is it then that they're setting up COVID bills and COVID financing to 2028? Seems pretty odd, doesn't it? And then we know there's variations. So far, there's 3 major variants. And a variant isn't like a new form of it. It's just simply as it develops through so many different humans, it tends, like humans have deformities, it deforms. It's a mutation in a sense, and that is exactly what, the mutations are, or the variants are. And these aren't much different, and we're finding that the majority of the vaccines, especially the newer vaccines, are capable of addressing this. So therefore, through the majority of Americans getting the vaccine and herd immunity, shouldn't be an issue, right? Okay? But mark our words, by the end of June, no, not even half of America will have had the vaccine. Why? Because, they're sending out, 1.82 million a day, vaccines a day, but they're not all just Americans getting them. You're having illegal immigrants getting them. Now you have people crossing the border that aren't even American, getting them before our senior citizens, before our A1 category vaccination population, meaning the highest risk, senior citizens with heart disease, senior citizens with, vascular issues, any kind of underlying health condition in conjunction with a volatile age. That means that you therefore should be in category A1, first to receive the vaccine. Well, they're making 2 million a day, right? Great. 2 million a day are going out there. Well, then, can somebody please explain to me how the population between 55 and 65 is only 41 million Americans? 55 to 65 is the primary should be vaccinated age, and additionally 65 and on, which is another 20 million. So you're looking at around 61 million. At 2 million a day, don't you think our entire elderly population should have received the vaccine within the first 30 days? If they're focusing on the vulnerable, if they actually wanted to end the death of this virus, that's where they should be done, right? Spend 2 months with the vaccine, 3 months with the vaccine. It's really odd, isn't it? I find that very funny that they don't even seem to want to do this. And where are we getting our numbers from? Statistica.com, a major statistics website. That's where we're finding our population and our age brackets. So you're telling me that within a 1 month period, they should have been able to vaccinate the majority of senior citizens from vulnerability based on those numbers. 61 million elderly out of the 328 million. 68 million in that health bracket category where they're elderly and have some kind of health condition. They don't have it yet. As a matter of fact, we attempted to sign up several senior citizens that have an A1 category for a vaccination in multiple outlets within our area. Not only did we not receive a phone call back, everywhere we attempted to sign the individual up, due to sheer demand, they cannot supply vaccines. Where are they going? Why is there no network, as Trump had implemented and put in place with the Freedom of Information Act? And he said, we're going to show you where these are all going. Now, under the Biden administration, those numbers are hidden. We have no idea where the majority of our vaccines are going. We have no idea where the majority of vaccines have been. As a matter of fact, we are only getting these numbers of how many have been vaccinated and how many shots have been distributed. We don't know what brand. There's no way for the independent, proper research that should be able to go through independent avenues. They're not allowing that to occur. Why? Why don't they want us to know? Is it simply because at this point, I just showed you the math, the majority of the elderly should have been vaccinated, and yet I don't think they got through 27% of the elderly from the last count I saw. How is that possible? How is that a thing? And additionally, if they're claiming COVID is going to be a thing of the future, it's going to be here for how long? But if we're able to vaccinate everybody by the end of June, or at least those willing to be vaccinated, shouldn't that therefore eliminate the majority of the issues that relate around COVID enough to bring it down to where it's nothing more than the influenza? Because we have the influenza shot. Now we have the COVID shot. There's no damn difference at this point. If you're going to die from it, you're going to die anyway, because we already have the vaccine. So why stop living? I can tell you why. Because how much power did the Democratic Party gain as a direct result of them pushing the COVID narrative? All of it. They lost the House because they underplayed that. They thought they had that. So they didn't focus on that. They went for the Senate. They went for the presidency. And that's exactly what happened. Through COVID alone, you can trace back every single seat to a place where a rule or law was changed due to COVID. Everyone. Look it up. Fact. Why? Because it's all part of the deal. They realize how much power there is to gain. And until they get everything that they want out of COVID, we will be dealing with COVID. So it's time to say enough is enough. If you have your vaccine, live your life. Don't allow anyone to dictate to you what you do as an American. And the more of these rights and rules they take away, the more you need to realize there's something going on. Why would they attack your Second Amendment during a pandemic and yet not focus enough on the pandemic. They're focused more on the Capitol riots. They're focused more on the things that could possibly present rebellion to their dictatorship. That's where their focus is. Not on the people, not on Americans. They're taking money out of conservative pockets by eliminating conservative jobs through the pipeline, through all of the border, all of these things they're eliminating. And they're bringing their people in, their new citizens, to complete all of their labor and to become dependent and show a system dependent on a government, which is the entire socialistic system that they are now attempting to bring and take over in America. Do you not see what's going on? So if COVID, in fact, is not over by July, you know, in fact, that they are attempting to prolong it. The facts are here. The numbers are in. Do your research, America. We're in trouble. We're in serious trouble. Our border is in shambles. Everything that has happened to benefit America, to put America in such a great place that we were able to get through this pandemic at all, happened in the last 4 years. And within the last 1 month, one senile old man and a dictatorial party has eliminated that and has now put America last. Well, guess what, America? It's time to put America first. And we're here at Critical Political Thinking are going to help you do that by bringing you the truth. So this is what's going on in America. And we hope you are as outraged as we are. Please share this video so everyone sees and understands what's truly going on in America and what to truly anticipate. A sheer insanity rush at the border, all of our border towns being overrun. Disease now coming back through the borders because we have no protection and no security for these people coming into our country under catch and release. Criminals, and for the most part, 95% amazing people, and most of them might live great American lives. We want them here. We're not saying we don't, but come the right way. Come through the door and follow the proper procedure. And that's what Congress needs to be working on, putting that proper procedure in place before you start opening the damn doors. Because you're going to have something you can't control, and it's already started. My name is Corey Camasso, and this is Critical Political Thinking. Please like, please share, please rumble, and please ring the notification bell. We are a non-monetized channel, and we depend on viewers like you. Please visit www.criticalpoliticalthinking.com and join our Critical Political Thinkers Club today to get some exclusive content, as well as we have some pretty exclusive membership packages up there. You can get a t-shirt and an exclusive Critical Political Thinking mug as well. So stop by, check it out, check out some exclusive content, and help support the one channel that cares about America and will continue to share the truth, no matter what. Thank you so much for watching Critical Political Thinking. Stay safe, and God bless America.